think in this country what we've seen has been struggles at different levels. One is definitely an armed struggle, which was between the state and the LTTE. The other was a struggle to resolve the ethnic conflict. Today's so-called military victories actually speak to a resolution that's both won by military means and is a resolution to, I don't know whether it's a resolution, but a phase of armed conflict that maybe changes now with the LTTE. If the LTTE is weaker, getting weaker, we see then that the armed conflict takes a different direction maybe. But the ethnic conflict, there is no resolution in sight at all, I see, at this point, for the ethnic conflict. There has been no resolution proposed. We as much as we would want a political solution, and a political solution has been called for, that political solution is today being proposed through the APRC, which we also saw as something that has been extremely weak, with no southern consensus, with no actual addressing of Tamil grievances, with something like 13th Amendment being proposed, which we know has failed miserably, not only for the Tamil people, it has failed all over Sri Lanka in terms of the kind of decentralization of power it has failed to establish. And so we continue to see then a non-resolution of the ethnic conflict. We see the consequences of armed conflict that have to be dealt with. The question of displacement, the question of security, as much as we might say, or the state might say, that, for example, the Wani has been liberated, that Jaffna has been liberated, that the East was liberated. What kind of liberation is this? What kind of security is this? When, for example, even Colombo cannot be secured, hasn't been secured. We can see this. We've seen an intensification of militarization, both here in the south as well as in the north and the east. And the solution then to dealing with the question of so-called terrorism should not be through the imposition of more terror. And in the aftermath of these victories, what we are seeing is actually the curbing of dissent, the continued disappearances, the detentions, the use of the PTA, the emergency regulations, and against various dissenting groups. And I think this then is virtually a mirror image of the terror we've seen in the north and the east, the terror we've experienced in the last 25 years. And that seems to be a continuation. So a resolution then to the ethnic conflict has definitely got to take a political, has to be a political solution. And I think that's something that both political entities in the south as well as Tamil political representation has to now take seriously.